Man, yo, what's up, y'all? Whatever, man, just coming through real quick to give y'all my reaction to the fight. Thought it was an excellent fight card tonight. On ESPN, ESPN Plus. If you were looking for knockouts, for the most part, hey, this was your night. Comey coming out early, devastating power, one punch knockout power, scoring the knockout there in the second round. Um, you had Valdez coming out in the second fight. Timofimo Lopez, um, dominant. That man. What can you say, man? That was a hell of a performance he put on. And then of course you had the decision for Kovalev in the main event. I don't know where to start. I thought that in the Valdez fight, Valdez was clearly ahead in that fight. I don't think there was really any reason for that fight to continue past the sixth round after what I think it was the third knockdown. um, but they let that fight go on, and of course, ended up in a stoppage in the seventh round, and then in the Lopez fight, I mean, he was landing at will the entire fight. He clearly, excuse me, he clearly had was it Magdaleno? He was clearly beating him up the entire fight. The man's got heart. He's got a hell of a chin because he held in there for a long time before his before his chin finally gave in. But that fight should have been stopped. If by nothing else, by his corner. That fight, devastating knockout. Lopez landed the left hook, which clearly, Magdaleno was out on his feet. And Lopez took advantage of that. He loaded up on that second hook, and man, it was lights out, man. Bad ending. Again, a fight that should have been stopped either by the ref or by the corner. You clearly seen Andre Ward's reaction to that, which I think was very valid. There was no point or reason for that fight to go on at that point. And again, I feel the same thing about the Valdez fight. That's a fight that should have been stopped. But looking at the Kovalev and Alvarez fight, Kovalev was using his jab well throughout the fight. He's doing a great job with that jab, using that jab to set up the right hand. Throwing punches and bunches, 2, 3, 4, 5 punch combinations all night. Round three, I thought Alvarez, started to come forward a little bit in that round, started to throw a few body shots, but he kind of let off the gas. That was where I thought he was going to start to be a little bit more aggressive and fight, but Kovalev continued to do what he was doing throughout the night. He never got discouraged, which I think was a big thing for him. Was the whole mental aspect of it. He was again throwing well. He's being more aggressive. In the fifth round, I thought noticed Alvarez started to try to land that overhand right. He didn't connect on it in the fifth round, but he did connect in the sixth round. Early in the round, it got Kovalev's attention. I thought it hurt him a little bit, but he recovered well. And, Kovalev came back and landed some good combinations at the end of that round. I thought Kovalev looked like he was going to start to slow down in the seventh and eighth round. He let off the gas a little bit, but Alvarez didn't do anything to take advantage of it. He didn't have the consistent body attack, and it allowed Kovalev to continue doing what he was doing. That jab really was the key to his win tonight. He set up all his offense off of it. He never let his foot off the gas. Obviously, in the 11th and 12th round, it was up to Alvarez, to understand that he needed to get a stoppage. And I thought Kovalev clearly showed that he wanted to fight more. He came out in the 12th round, a round where he knew that Alvarez was going to probably come out and do everything that he could to hopefully, get a knockout. I mean, he's looking for a knockout all night off of one punch. So you expect Alvarez to come out and give his most aggressive round, and Kovalev, man, he was landing some thunderous combinations. He landed a lot of right hands in that 12th round, and I mean, at one point to me, I mean, really, it looked like Kovalev said, "Hey, I know I'm way ahead on the cards, but I want to stop this guy. I want a knockout." And he continued to do so, throughout the round, and I'm hard pressed to give Alvarez more than 2 rounds. It's not like the decision was controversial or anything, but I didn't think it was a 116-112 fight. Um, but yeah, I mean, overall, great showing for Kovalev. Mentally, he was there. If you can break Kovalev's from a mental aspect of the fight, take his spirit or what have you, you got a chance to win. But clearly, that didn't happen tonight. Buddy McGirt brought him in with a great game plan. I think he was in better shape and condition for this fight, and it clearly showed. Where does Kovalev go from here? Andre Ward's not out there to fight him. He's come back and he's avenged his loss to Alvarez. So he says he wants unification fights. We'll see what he does next. Um, his biggest challenges to me are behind him, and we'll have to see where he goes from here. So just wanted to give a quick reaction. That's my 2 cents on the fight. And again, I think we need to look at, or boxing needs to look at, how much punishment we allow fighters to sit in there and take. Again, if I go back to the Lopez and Valdez fight, those were 2 fights that should have clearly been stopped. I think that's one thing, if we're talking about what we learned or what we've seen in boxing tonight, is that boxing needs to review what's going on with these referees. Corners need to stop letting their fighters take so much punishment. It's a man's sport. Obviously, people can get hurt. We've seen a lot of injuries, and there's been a few deaths recently. So definitely the safety of the fighters needs to be looked at. But from the aspect of all the fights, I thought it was a great fight night for ESPN and ESPN Plus. Good fights, and more to come. So just wanted to pop in and give my 2 cents real quick. I'm out. Feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel. Dislike if you disagree with what I'm saying. Feel free to leave me some comments. Let me know your feedback, and I'll holla.